You're watching the Battered Fans Network.
Solana, the Herons are back. Welcome to another episode of the Battered Herons podcast. I am your host, Chris Duran, and alongside me this way is none other than Solana. How are you doing, sir?
It was a tough weekend for me, man. Tough weekend for me. Suarez's last game on Friday for the national team. As you can see, I'm repping the jersey. I got it on, the Nike one and everything. Nice fresh fit. But bro, and then none of my bets hit yesterday on football, football Sunday. None of my parlays hit. So it was literally a rough weekend for Solana.
Yeah, I actually had a couple parlays, and none of them hit for me either. So I definitely am on the same boat. I had a good week the week before, but this week it wasn't the best. It wasn't the best. But we're off to greener pastures. We have a game this Sunday. Can't wait. I mean, it feels like a century whenever we have these long breaks. But I'm sure it's good to the body. It's good to the mind and the soul, to the players of the team. But let's get on with it, right? Let's talk a little bit about what's been going on with the men in pink and black, in Rosa y Negra. So first, one thing I wanted to bring up is that Inter Miami, last time we had this episode, we talked about Oscar Ustari, right? And how it hasn't been official, but there was some rumors, there was some rumblings. Well, guys, now, as you can see here, right here on the screen, for those of you on audio, this is an official image from the website. Inter Miami officially signs goalkeeper Oscar Ustari. Okay, and it's going to be for the remainder of the 2024 season. He's occupying an international slot, so it's going to help with the depth, especially with CJ Dos Santos out.
I mean, that's a tough one again for you and me, Chris. We're big CJ Dos Santos fans, or CJ Dos Striker, as they love to call him in the battered nation. But dude, I mean, I think this is a fantastic move. There was a reason why Inter Miami acquired that international spot, about a month and a half ago. Obviously, there was a lot of rumblings. It could have been Sergio Roberto, possibly Sergio Ramos, because he hasn't signed yet with anybody. And then I think, obviously, Inter Miami was kind of, had their hand forced at having to make this signing because of the depth that, or lack of depth that they have at the keeper position. Not a knock on, our wonderful, great, Mr. Finnerty and Mr. Jensen, not knocking them, but they just don't have the experience of an Oscar Ustari. And Inter Miami, looking to make a deep run, needs that kind of, leadership in the net.
And right here, as you can see, and this was posted on the Inter Miami Instagram with a couple other pictures, right? But this is Oscar apparently practicing with the team. Of course, this is paid for by Florida Blue. And then Joe, I just want to go over the comments. I haven't seen this. Cynical Tube saying, "Word up, family." Joe Kerr saying, hashtag 2 seats, 2 season ticket member gifts. I agree with this, and we're going to get to this in a little bit as well. Don't you worry, Joe Kerr. Don't go anywhere. Okay. You stay strapped in. All right.
I don't agree, but it's going to be a really interesting conversation, Chris. I just wanted to drop that for you.
Oh, man, this is going to be good. So Mike V says CJ Dos Cumbia, I guess. Mike V says Mike V and Tata out. And then the dude Avides is saying Mike V in. Yeah. What's up, Lamar? What's going on, everybody? So, look, he's practicing. So that's a good thing, right?
Absolutely. I mean, it's probably been a while since he's practiced. Like I said, I've seen him at multiple events around the city of Miami, soccer events with Maxi Rodriguez. And it's all the little Argentina crew that loves to come to Miami and spend some time in Miami. And now that Argentina is going to be having one of their headquarters here in Miami, I'd expect to see a lot more of, ex-Argentinian players around, the city of Miami.
Yeah, no, it's going to be great. And look, we needed this addition, especially with Dos Santos out. And it's something that we needed to be able to go ahead and get done. So those it's something that unfortunately CJ Dos Santos suffered a big injury, and so we had to make a signing because we just didn't have any goalkeepers that were ready for the big lights, I guess. So all right, so moving on, right? We covered already what's going on with Oscar Ustari. Let's go ahead and jump over to the next issue here. So I'm going to bring up another image. Let me just go ahead and remove that banner. And
the chat is on fire, man.
Yeah,
fire.
let me take a look at what's going on in the chat. Usually I get to swim in the sea with these guys. I see here.
No, they're just foreshadowing a lot of what's to come on the rest of the show, which I love. I love when the listeners and the folks that are watching, are just foreshadowing what's to come, and it makes for a good show. But throw that graphic up there because I'm ready to talk a little bit supporter shield.
So talking a little bit about the supporter shield race, right? So here we have the Columbus Crew, and this is posted by none other than Battered MLS Fans. So guys, if you haven't followed it, right there at the top, you see at Battered MLS Fans. Guys, spread the news. Let's get everybody involved. With the Columbus Crew loss and the LAFC draw, Inter Miami get closer to the supporter shield. Miami are 15 points away from securing the shield. The most points possible by another team are 73 by Columbus, winning all remaining games, or 72 by Cincy and LAFC, winning the remaining games. So they would have to go, essentially, undefeated in order to be able to go after the supporter shield. And here you see the standings. We're up at the top with 59 points. LA Galaxy with 52, Cincy with 51, Columbus 49, and LAFC 48.
Now, a few things that we got to mention here. This weekend, you have a El Tráfico. So you have number 2 going against number 5. So there's going to be some points left behind by some of those teams there. I also believe Columbus plays Cincinnati a little bit later in the season. Columbus also plays Inter Miami, the second to last game of the season at home. So, even if Inter Miami drops those points, they could still win 5 of their last 6 and clinch. So things are on the up and up right now. And like I've seen a lot of folks around social media saying it's really Miami's to lose. And I mentioned it on 560 this weekend. It's got to be a colossal meltdown. It's got to be an absolute colossal meltdown.
Well, I mean, the supporter shield race, I mean, the question really is it over? I mean, to me, it's over. There's absolutely no way that any of these teams that are under us are going to go undefeated and then we go over for the next couple games. There's no way. I just don't see that happening.
I mean, I don't see it happening either, but like we always say, and especially in soccer, you got to play the games. You got to let it play out. And we'll see what happens. I don't see either team, like you said, winning out. Almost impossible, especially with Columbus if they want to win that Campeones Cup that they're going to play against America later this month or in October. If they're really going to think about that, then you have to think that they're going to rest players around those games as well. So, or they might not have enough keepers. You never know.
Well, I don't think that that's going to be the case again. I just feel like it's in the bag. I feel like we're going to walk away with this plato de croquetas. And Joker is saying it's in the bag as long as Chris doesn't bet on Miami. I mean, look, I'm going to bet on Miami, guys. I'm sorry. I don't care what anybody says. I don't care what Danny says. I'm going to bet on Miami. And I'm going to tell you right now, we're going to get the record, which is, I think it's 74 or 73 points. We're going to get that record. I'm going to have to double check the record itself. But one thing that we were talking about before, we were talking about the supporter shield race. And I guess we'll talk a little bit about it more after we discuss what happened in Columbus, because obviously we were expecting Columbus to be one of the front runners in terms of giving us a little bit of competition. But Columbus apparently had a goalkeeper fumble this week.
Huge fumble, Ruski.
Yeah, and I wasn't watching the game. I tweeted out that I decided to watch the St. Louis game because I just wanted to see Indiana Vasilev. He gets injured, by the way, and Danny would probably love to see that. Columbus Crew apparently at some point, right? And let's just set this up real quick, right? You have Abraham Romero, who, what, I think he just signed with Columbus.
I think so. Yeah, I think he was their third or fourth goalkeeper. But yeah.
Well, okay. So Romero ends up playing, right? He gets a red card at some point in the game. And this was around the 45th minute, maybe with a little bit of extra time going on. This guy does his best impression of a linebacker in American football and just destroys and tackles a player outside of the box. And Joker is saying the janitor came in because of a red card.
It wasn't the janitor. It was a player. But hey, I'll tell you this, man. He did his best impression of a Lawrence Taylor. For those of you who go back in the day in terms of football, I mean, he looked like LT out there, just literally blindsiding the forward. I mean, there's absolutely no doubt that was a card. And to be completely honest, I wasn't watching the game. I don't know if he was on a yellow or not. Yeah. But that, I mean, that was definitely a foul and a complete, card.
No, he wasn't under a yellow card. The foul was gruesome enough that they just pulled out the red.
It was just reckless,
right? It was really, really reckless. And at that point, we got to a situation where the goalie gets a red card. So you think, okay, well, we got a goalie on the bench, but no. Columbus didn't have a goalie sitting on the bench. They had to go to a field player to be able to cover the position. Zawadski, I think that's what his name is. Zawadski. I was looking in to see if he ever played goalie. And I'm not sure. I haven't been able to find anything if Zawadski ever played goalie. But he put on those gloves like if he was ready to be the greatest goalkeeper of all time. And man, I really felt for him because obviously in that sort of instance, you don't really want to see someone take such a big L like that. But immediately, because it was a free kick that they gave the player that got tackled, he ended up not being able to block the free kick. And immediately, from the moment that he got onto the pitch, gets scored on. It was awful. Now, there was a lot of complaints, and I'm going to just put this comment up real quick, and then you can be able to talk a little bit, Solana. I'm sorry. Skrilla is here saying they said MLS rigged the supporter shield for us. Apparently, we rigged Romero to get a red card and for Columbus to not have the ability to have a goalkeeper on the bench. And all of that was rigged in favor of us staying in the front lines and the front of the line at the supporter shield.
You forgot a few more things. You forgot the fact that, Inter Miami rigged that Cucho Hernandez got called up to the Colombian national team. Right.
That's right.
And a couple of their players also got called up to their national team. So, that was rigged for sure. And, let's keep going about the rigging this and the rigging that. Look, if there's a blame to go on, it's the MLS and it's Don Garber specifically. Why? Because if you go into the rules are just not clear. And I tweeted it earlier that, the MLS has to be the only rule in the entire world where as a fan or just as somebody who wants to follow it, you got to have the rule book in your hand 24/7 to understand some of the things that are going on. I mean, I started to kind of get into the situation with that and kind of understand what had happened. And apparently, you can only sign a player 4 times in a year to a short-term contract from the second team to the first team. They already did that with their goalies. But one of the games was for the Aston Villa game. And I guess, they were saying, they were trying to claim that this was, an extraordinary event. And because under the extraordinary event rules, they could have made an exception. So that's why there's a lot of folks that are, out there being Cody crybabies and whining about it, when at the end of the day, their team really should have done the work back in June, July, and just before Leagues Cup, like Inter Miami did when they went, 8-0-1.
Well, I think that you're on the money, Solana, in terms of that the MLS, they're just not clear enough with a lot of these rules, right? Too many international slots, too many, like it's just there's a big disconnect in terms of the ability to be able to translate the message clearly enough, so that way that these organizations and these teams can be able to sort of organize themselves in a way where they can be prepared for something like this. Because Sean Zawadski, from what I'm researching here, and I can't find it anywhere.
Well, no,
has never.
So he's never played goalie, I don't think, in an official game. But I did see, and I did find some research on him that apparently, like in practice, when they play, sometime their scrimmages he's one of the guys that plays goalie. So they always joked about him playing goalie in a game. They never thought it would really happen. So he had some kind of experience, but obviously he said, I mean, that after that first goal, he's like, they were just coming at me. And, I didn't really know what to do. I tried my best to go for the ball. And, at that point, I mean, look, I feel for him because I was a field player my entire life. And when I went to go, when I started playing in the adult league, sometimes if we needed a goalie, I was like, well, I'll play, whatever, who cares? And it's not easy, man. Your team gets heated with you if the ball goes in, and sometimes it's not even your fault. So but at least his coach praised him. Maybe it was because he let him down. We don't know, but his coach praised him. And dude, you got to move on, Columbus Crew fans. You got to move on.
Well, and Mez is asking, what if he concedes a lot? I don't know if you're talking about Zawadski or if you're talking about the new goalkeeper that we signed, because I do see him chatting back and forth with Mr. Krabs. But if you are talking about Zawadski, like, of course he was going to concede. He's mentioning the new goalie. What if he concedes a lot? I mean, I don't know. I don't even think he's going to be playing this weekend. I don't think that you're. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna say he's not coming in as a starter. He's coming in as an insurance policy, guys. Let's be 100% real, right? He's coming in because CJ Dos Cumbia or CJ Dos Salsa got hurt. That's the only reason he's coming in, and because he was just hanging around Miami, and Messi probably picked up his phone and texted him and say, "Hey, you want to sit back up to Drake for 4 months?" And then credit to Joe Kerr, he mentioned it earlier in the chat that remember Drake's wife or his partner is pregnant, and so he'll probably need some time off, just like our partner who needed some time off, and we're doing our best to fill in his big shoes, and Ustari will do his best to fill in Drake's shoes, and maybe Jensen will get a shot and Ustari will play backup. Who knows? But it's just an insurance policy.
Yeah, and then again, somebody earlier asked about whether this was a good move or why we're signing. I think it was Mr. Krabs asking why we're signing a 38-year-old goalie. I think we know exactly why we're signing a 38-year-old goalie, because we need someone with experience.
That's not it, man.
No? What?
No. It's because he knows how to cook good asados, and they need somebody to cook those asados at the Friday practice.
So then that means, I get it. Okay. So then that means that not only is he going to be doing a good deed on the pitch, but off the pitch as well. So that's good.
Absolutely. He'll also be sharing the bombilla in the mate with Messi and Suarez, unlike Danny.
Oh yeah, no, Danny doesn't share. No, he doesn't share that with anybody. And I was going to hop over to the next topic here, but Joker, you are on the money with a lot of stuff. Says Henderson seems to know the rules to a T. Hashtag Hail Hendo. And one thing I wanted to mention is there's some rumors going around as far as people talking online and media people also mentioning something about Chris Henderson, Chef Hendo, rumored, or at least that his best landing gig after what's happening here in Miami would be Atlanta. I don't know if you picked that up, Solana, but I mean, Joe Kerr mentioned something on Twitter to me, said that the owner of Atlanta, and of course of the Atlanta Falcons, what's his face? The Home Depot guy. I mean, the name escapes me. He's going to back up Brinks trucks to pay this guy. I mean, what do you think about the possibility of losing Hendo? Do you think it's a good thing? Do you think it's a bad thing, even though we have someone sort of filling in his position?
Look, I think, what Inter Miami is trying to do in terms of bringing over the guy from Barcelona, and trying to structure their office in the way of like possibly how like a European team does, it might work in the long run, but in the short run, losing Henderson would be an absolute disaster for Inter Miami.
Yeah.
And it's mainly for what Joe Kerr says. I want, like, and again, I don't think he's up there yet, because he still hasn't won anything. I guess he won with Seattle, but I want to say he's like the Andy Ellisberg, the guy who runs the cap in the back, and
Yes.
he knows the insides and outs, like Joe Kerr said, of the rules and the regulations, and knows the international slots and all that. And that's the knowledge that he has and he brings to the table, because he's been a part of this league for so long. So it'll be a huge loss for Inter Miami if they do that. Now, it wouldn't go past me that they tried to, squeeze as much knowledge as they could out of him and pass it along to this guy. And then this guy's going to do whatever he can. And, we'll see what happens. But, if you ask my opinion, yeah, huge loss.
I think it's going to be, if that was to happen, it'd be a terrible loss, because Chris Henderson has been able to make greatness out of shit. Essentially, he's been able to figure out during a time where we were under sanctions to make this team better than what it was when we had a ton of DPs and great and good players, right? So to be able to get to this point, and what's up, nerds, to Dennis Lopez, Thomas is saying right here, if Henderson leaves, we're in trouble, because I don't trust the new guy with the cap and the rules. This is what I mentioned online on Twitter, on X, that I predict that if Hendo's not here and this new guy starts calling the shots, we're going to be under sanctions like in 2 years before we hit the new stadium.
I mean, I don't doubt it. And Chris, it's really going to come down to Chris Henderson himself, right? It's going to come down to what kind of money, Blank's gonna throw at him. That's one.
Arthur
Two,
Blank, that's right.
Right. Arthur Blank, the owner of Atlanta United. That's going to be one. Two, he's going to have to take a look at himself and his, and look at his ego and say, look, I kind of have it good maybe in Miami, kind of being behind the shadows and not having my name out there because this other guy might, be the sporting director or whatever. I can continue doing my thing, making my money, and continue to do greatness. Or is his ego going to get the best of him? And is he going to say, no, I want my stamp on this? And if that's the case, then he might look to move on, Chris. And again, you can't blame the guy for doing that, because he's got to look out for number one, and his family. And it's a business at the end of the day, Chris. And sometimes it's tough. I mean, you know more than anybody, being a Knicks fan, it's tough.
Oh yeah, it is. Absolutely. I mean, I can't wait till ownership gets out of there. Now, I guess we're talking about business. Let's go ahead and traject ourselves over to another topic that I wanted to go over. And somebody asked if we're going to take calls. If we get to the end of everything by like 30 minutes, we'll do like 5 minutes of calls. So we'll see. Let's go ahead and talk a little bit about the season ticket member gift for renewing for 2024. Better late than never. I don't know. There's a comment that I kind of wanted to get to, but I can't find it right now. But I'm going to go ahead and bring up an email that was sent out to all season ticket members. So I'll go ahead and read it up here. Thank you for their incredible support this season. It's been a great season so far, with IMCF sitting on top of the Eastern Conference and having already secured our playoff spot. As a valued season ticket member, we are thrilled to announce that this week you will be receiving an email regarding your 2024 IMCF ticket, season ticket member thank you gift, you have the option of choosing your gift from an array of custom Inter Miami CF items. Check out a sneak peek into your gift selection below. More options will be visible once you are granted access into the gift portal. So it shows two pictures here. It shows a picture of a dad hat, right, with the Inter Miami logo on it, and then some random flag in the back of a boat somewhere in Miami. And then on the bottom it says, "This is where it gets really sexy." And this is what the reference that I made with Joe Kerr. To make it easier for you, the email will take you to a portal where you select your gift and enter your desired shipping information, and that's it. The gift will be shipped directly to you. It will be one gift per account. Now, let me get my opinion out of the way here. Okay. And Mr. Krabs is asking, let me guess, Chris, you guys got a scarf. That's what we got like a year or two ago in a box. Okay. Mr. Krabs saying Inter Miami scarves for everyone. Stancy's asking if you got the boat that's in the picture. I hope so. So Tom is saying why people want gifts. We literally have a great team on the field, and other teams don't even spend money to bring players. That sounds like a point that Solana might bring up. Joker says some people got a beach towel and backpack as pictures in the email. Ooh, Joker, I want to see those emails. That would be actually pretty interesting.
I'm interested about the backpack, not so much about a beach towel. I mean,
yeah, the backpack's cool.
You're spending $5,000 and you're getting a beach towel. Like, really? At least the backpack you can take around with you. I don't know, man.
Daily use. It's a daily use thing, right? The backpack is a daily use. You'll get daily use maybe sometimes out of the hat. The flag is just.
But come on, come on. I mean, if you're investing $5,000 into your season tickets and you're getting one hat, which you could probably buy that hat at Dick's Sporting Goods for $29.99. I mean, the return on your investment, other than the fact of that you get to go and watch these players, I mean, that return is absolutely brutal. I mean, and I don't want to compare to what we saw last week. Remember last week, I think you brought on a picture of what some other fans, was it Cincinnati?
Yes.
That Todd
right
the
here.
God. That's right. So they got that supporter shield. They also got like a little package of like it looked like a tumbler and like a couple scarves. Dude, I think that's cool because that kind of is a little bit, that's one gift per season ticket member, like per account, but you're getting a few little goodies instead of just one hat. Like that's ridiculous.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you this much. This picture right here has the, oh my goodness. I just got the message from Joe Kerr. For those of you that are looking on the screen, he is showing me verbatim a backpack and a beach towel.
The backpack is sleek.
Joe Kerr, you know what? Joe Kerr, you are a man of epic proportions. Okay. This I would take that backpack. That's what I'm picking. Now, here's the problem. And this is Mike V down here saying $12,000. I want a effing medal, bro. You deserve a medal, Mike V, because I know you got a couple tickets. Now, again, and this would be actually great. Francisco saying free parking for season tickets. This is on the money. I don't mind doing this over a backpack. But Joe Kerr's got a little bone to pick, and I got the same bone to pick on the bottom where it says one gift per account. This is awful. I paid for 2 seats. If you're going to give me a gift, I want 2 gifts. Mike V has 4 seats. He needs to get 4 gifts. The amount of money. Well, I mean, but again, if Mike V, I don't know if he has one account for 2 pairs of his tickets, right? Because if it is, then he's kind of getting shafted. He's paying for 4 seats.
One thing I'm curious, and now we're kind of going down, the rabbit hole a little bit, but
yeah,
maybe they have tiers based on how much or how many tickets you have, and then based on those tiers, that's the email you got, and those might be some of the gifts that could be available to you. So maybe you, Chris,
I'm not getting a backpack. That's what you're telling me.
That's what I'm saying. You might not. I mean, I mean, your tickets are good though, so you might get the backpack. But maybe if you're sitting, you know, in the corner end zones or whatever, you might not get the backpack. I don't know, but maybe it might be that case. It could that could be an idea. I mean, that could at least show that, hey, there's a little bit more appreciation for you who spends a little bit more money than somebody else who doesn't.
Let's see this though. Mike V is saying every year I have received one gift per seat. This is interesting. Mike V, this is interesting because if every year you've received, you know what? You're right, Mike, because I've received a gift per seat. So now that they're doing this like home shopping network blast out to be able to pick your backpacks and your flags, now it's one per account. Now is where I have a little bit more trouble because there's no consistency. So I do agree that if they do give one per seat in years prior, and now they're only doing one per account, this is great right here, Mike. And the gentleman Wake says, FYI, and thank you for the super slam. The gentleman Wake, much appreciated. Says, FYI, that coin everyone is drooling over costs 30 cents to produce. Take it from me. I manufacture metal collectibles. Cógelo con tequerisi. I get it. The gentleman, you don't have to tell me how the hot dog's made. Just let me enjoy the hot dog.
Instead of sending that $4.99, you should have sent Chris
a 30 cent
a 30 cent mini collectible or something. That's what you should have sent Chris.
Yes. Now I get your point, the gentleman Wake, but again, like, don't tell me how the hot dog's made. Just make the hot dog for me, and that's it. Okay,
it's not about it's at the end of the day, you know, as fans, it's not really about the item. It's more about the gesture of the team, you know, doing something for somebody who, I mean, quote unquote, is basically investing in their team, and they're paying their players and their salaries. So they should, you know, technically take care of those folks a little bit better than everybody else. But we know things in Miami, you know, in the what do they call? I know they call it Sin City, but you know, it's also the Ponzi scheme city, and things can get a little crazy down here sometimes. So
yeah, it can be.
Gets a little backwards.
Yes, it does. Look, and I get the whole point that everybody is making, saying you guys are getting messy. You're getting the best team. You're getting the best players. Don't worry about a gift. I get that. But I want my damn backpack. I want my damn 30-cent coin. I don't want to know how the hot dog's made, even though El Bigote is telling me the hot dog is made by putting ketchup on it. Okay. And yes, Dennis, I don't want to know what kind of water it's in, whether the water's nasty. Just give me the hot dog. Okay. And at the end of the day, I think that those things, even though that it can be like mass produced, like the supporter shield coin, whatever, the display thing, or the backpacks, it shows a little bit of a touch that you're considerate of your season ticket members. That's 100%. All I want. I want to feel cared for.
Absolutely. You want them to show you that they care about you. That's yes. All it is. It's that gesture. But hey, I don't want to take the show. Oh, go ahead. Because
go ahead. Go, Solana.
I was gonna say I don't want to take the show out of whack. But we're talking about hot dogs, and I had a question to ask you, and you guys can respond in the chat as well, guys and girls, everybody who's there. Is a hot dog considered a sandwich?
No way, dude. No way.
Ooh, but why not? It's not.
It's not.
Yeah, it's meat in between two. You know.
145. This guy. 145. This guy. There's no way that you can count. Oh my goodness, you're gonna get railed. Stancy, no. Francisco, no. Mez, no.
I don't know, man. I mean, technically, a sandwich is you put it in between two breads.
No, I mean, what are we doing? I consider a hot dog a vertical sandwich.
Yeah, I mean, you consider a burger a sandwich?
No, that's not a sandwich. It's a burger. No, Bigote. Come on, man. Bigote saying Solana is correct. It's a sandwich. Somebody asked, is mate tea?
It is. It is.
Oh
It's
man,
a it's a magical tea.
there's too many people saying it is, and this is
Oh, there's not. Hey, 145 this guy.
oh my
145
god,
this
get out of
guy.
here. Steve Munoz is saying better question is, are pancakes a breakfast item or dessert? I'm gonna say breakfast every single day.
And Mr. Krabs, 100% a torta is considered a sandwich in Mexico.
Is a burrito a sandwich? No, we're getting off base here. This is getting ridiculous.
Hey, I
This
told you
is
I didn't want to go out whack, but I had a really interesting question to ask you. So we can get back to the herons if you want.
yeah, no, I just want to mention one more thing before everybody starts talking about all kinds of things that should not qualify as a sandwich, and we're just gonna get off the rails. Um, I want to mention just one more point before we go ahead and close the show out. Ticket prices for the home game this coming Saturday. Guys, for any of you that are actually considering going to the game this Saturday, and I imagine that there is a possibility that Messi will be playing this Saturday, the stars are sort of aligning in that way. I went on StubHub earlier today just to give you guys an idea of how much the tickets cost. So here I put a screenshot on the top. You see section 124 just has the price in comparison to what seats you're getting. I guess that would be the best bang for your buck. But then right under that, you have the cheapest seat available, which is section 107, row 9, seats 1 and 2 sitting together for $39 each. Now, again, I know that there's a lot of people that haven't been to games because of the pricing, because of Messi. For those of you that at this moment don't have any plans on Saturday and you want to make it out to an Inter Miami game and you haven't been to a game in a while and you have the possibility of seeing Messi this weekend, it's going to be a good game regardless. But you have the possibility of seeing Messi this weekend. There's no way that you pass up this $39 a piece ticket seat.
Now,
there's no way.
I'm on TickPick, which is the app that I use, and as of right now, all in, fees and everything, the cheapest ticket is $67. So even at $67, all in, that's with fees, with everything.
Yeah,
that's still a good price to go see Inter Miami and the Philadelphia Union. Who, I mean, I don't know, and we're gonna talk on maybe on Wednesday to our buddy over there from Philadelphia. We don't know if maybe we're gonna see a Kevin Sullivan or Caven, or I don't know how to pronounce it. I apologize if I mispronounce it, but that's another possibility of something that you might be able to see this weekend. So look, $60. I mean, that's literally you can't go out to dinner anymore for $60, but you can go watch superstars for $60. Go out, support the team, watch the men in pink, and hopefully they get a dub.
Well, and just to end the show here, Solana, apparently there's been fighting in the background while we're talking about ticket prices. Mike V is saying, if anything, a hot dog would be a hero, which I guess not really still, which is not a sandwich. And a hero is a sandwich. I mean, I guess it's like its own hero, its own category.
It's a type of a sandwich, but it's a sandwich overall. It falls in the sandwich category.
Yes. And then El Bigote says, come to Atlanta, Mike V. I'll fight sandwiches with you. And Mr. Krabs asking, is Philly cheesesteak a sandwich? Yes, it's a sandwich.
Absolutely. Philly cheesesteak sandwich. That's what it's called.
Yes. Guys, I got to agree with Pablo here. Pablo Golazo saying hashtag hot dog out. Hot dog out. We've had enough of that. There's no way you just rumbled this whole thing, Solana. I was considering taking calls and we just started talking about hot dogs as sandwiches. Guys, this is out of control. We're gonna end it on a we're gonna end this on a good note. Joker, major shout out to you. You're the fucking best. Give these guys some likes. Top sandwich podcast around. You're not, I'm promising you, in any Inter Miami podcast, and probably a lot of other MLS podcasts, you're not gonna get content like this. So do me a favor, get the thumb and just push the screen up a little bit and press that like button. And if you haven't subscribed, subscribe, guys, and tell your friends about the show. Solana, do you have any last words before we get out of here?
Nope. I just want to confirm what Don Cafecito is saying. I do cut my burgers in half.
You don't eat the burger whole, like as it comes?
No.
You cut it in half? What are you, a baby? Do you have chicken nuggets? Dinosaur chicken nuggets on the side of your burger too?
I cannot confirm or deny that.
Oh my gosh, guys. For those of you listening on audio, thank you guys so much for listening. Put a comment up and say, hope you enjoy your dinosaur chicken nuggets, Solana. Do me a favor. Check us out on all the audio platforms, iTunes, Spotify, Napster, whatever it is that's out there. And for those of you in the LimeWire, oof. For those of you in the chat, guys, thank you guys so much for hanging tight with us and chilling and talking about sandwiches and how hot dogs are a complete disaster in the sandwich community. You guys are the best part of the show. Round of applause to you guys. Thank you guys so much for that. Guys, like and subscribe to the show. Let other people know about it so that way we can be able to grow this together. And don't forget to check us out. We're going to be on at 10 o'clock tonight. We're going to be talking the same thing, but in Spanish. So check us out, Battered Herons en Español. We're going to be on tonight if you want to hear us talk a little bit in a different language. And then, of course, tomorrow we have the Battered MLS podcast as well. So, guys, it was a pleasure. It was amazing. Happy Monday to everybody. Hope you guys are having a great start to your week. And until the next one, guys, have a good one.
See you later.